Well, good morning, 646 folks. Hey, I just wanted to catch up to you here on Friday, the 28th of July. Summer has flown. Oh my gosh, has it gone by fast. I hope you're all doing well. I hope your data is getting collected and you're about ready to get into some of your data analytics. Qualtrics can do most of what we want to do. Well, actually, you can do all of it, okay? Um, The very most that I'm asking you to do for this assignment is to do the basic descriptives and to do some crosstabs. Okay? And Qualtrics can do all of that. We learned yesterday, unfortunately, that we cannot export a SPSS or an Excel file from Qualtrics, which is different. That changed in the last year and a half, and it has me kind of bummed. So what we can do is get all of our information from Qualtrics, print it, or in some cases we may screenshot it, but we can print it pretty easily from each report, and we'll write up our results from that. But I wanted to show you today how to do a crosstab. Okay, so they're pretty easy to do in Qualtrics, and they're very informative. Okay, so I have one that I've already set up right now, and this is a crosstab that basically pinpoints and matrix develops. I use tobacco products versus I prefer vegetables over meats. And what this allows you to do is absolutely be discriminatory about who said what or who reported what with these particular questions. So this becomes very important when you're trying to make inferences about the results of your data collection. For example, I'm looking at how many people prefer to eat vegetables over meat, so that means that they definitely are vegetable eaters versus meat eaters. And also I want to see in there how many of those line up with using alcohol. So is there a remarkable difference between people that drink a lot and eat vegetables, or people that don't drink a lot and eat vegetables, or the opposite? So that when I write up my results, I can say our tabulations concluded that these results were remarkable. All right. Well, you have to pick interesting cross tabs to make it work for you. Okay. Clearly, this one's kind of interesting to me. But as we thought, if you look at my results here, I use tobacco products. Never. I prefer vegetables over meats. Never. Interesting. I prefer vegetables over meats always and never line up quite interesting. Look at the I prefer vegetables over meat seldomly. I use tobacco products always. That's very interesting. Okay? And when it becomes even more interesting is when you find out how many, in that particular case, always using tobacco products was an N of 23. Well, how many in that particular question said always? If it was 25, that means 90% of those that are always using tobacco seldomly prefer vegetables. That's compelling. So these are things that you kind of want to glean out of your report that the descriptives don't tell you by themselves. Okay? So how do we do this? Well, it's pretty simple actually. Okay? We can come over here to data and analysis. And right from the beginning, you're usually coming in somewhere around here in the survey. I think it opens on the survey. Hit data and analysis. Okay. Hit cross tabs. Alright, now you'll see I've got a couple in here, but I want to create a new one. Okay, so we're going to look at I prefer vegetables over meats, and I use tobacco just to see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to put I prefer vegetables over meats in the rows again. So the rows, just so you know, are going down the left side of that chart. Okay, columns along the top on the x-axis. All right, rows y-axis, columns x-axis. It's a preference thing. You don't have to do it any particular way. Okay, so I'm going to click that. Pretty standard. And we're coming down to I smoke cigarettes, if you can see that in there. And I'm going to put that in the columns. So I've checked those two boxes, and then I just click on Create Crosstab. Pretty easy compared to what you guys have been doing. Okay, so this produced a result, and isn't that interesting? I smoke cigarettes. Never. I prefer vegetables over meats. The same people that said never said never to I prefer vegetables over meats, 47 of them. I smoke cigarettes always, and I seldom prefer vegetables over meat. The same 22 said that. But take a look at the 141 marker there. 141 of those people said I never smoke cigarettes, and I seldomly prefer vegetables. What's that telling us? People that don't smoke, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to eat their vegetables, right? That's interesting. So there may not be a strong correlation there between those two, all right? It doesn't take a genius to figure that one out, right? So these are interesting results, to say the least, and this is a really interesting, I think, procedure that can help you with informing your results. Not only that, but informing your conclusions. Okay, so these are all done in Qualtrics. Now, having said all that, okay, you can get the assignment done doing that by itself. There's a individual assignment coming for SPSS that I want you to do, because SPSS is where life lives for all of us that want to do any types of calculations. So if you go back to data and analysis, okay, now the idea was to collect 25 results. 25, I guess, pieces of data from 25 to 30 items. Well, it gets a little bit hard when we can't export it, but I'll offer you this. If you want to manually code into Excel the results of your data collected, and you want to put those into SPSS, which we did a lot of this stuff actually in our graduate work at Western, manually coding. If you want to do that, I'll offer you this. I'll offer you 15 extra points to do that. And I'll have you run a regression. Okay? If you want to do that, run the regression, write that up. I'll offer you 15 extra credit points. Let me know if you want to do that, and I'll provide a tutorial on exactly how to do that. Okay? I'm going to give you extra points to fill out your evaluations if I haven't done that already so far, because I want to get data and information on what you liked and didn't like about the class, okay? But there's some interesting things happening here in our near future with this class. I can't go too far with that information because I don't know for sure if it'll end up happening, but it results in a good possibility of less credit hours for you. I'm thinking about the thesis and taking the thesis and this class and bringing them together as one instead of having a separate thesis project. It would make that go away. And then renaming this class. We'll see if I can get that accomplished. I will try as the director of the MBA program. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. It has to get passed through faculty and the Senate and all that, but it certainly makes a lot of sense from a marketability standpoint and functionality. So we'll see what happens. So to be clear, 15 extra credit points if you want to self-code your data into Excel, load it into SPSS, do some stuff in SPSS. Okay? You don't have to. I'm going to give you some individual assignment today for SPSS so that you get into SPSS and you learn how to use it. Because someday you may have an opportunity to run research and experiments, and I want you to have the ability to have someone help coach you through that the first time you get into SPSS, and that'd be me, okay? If you want the extra credit opportunity, please let me know as soon as you can, because I'd like to put together a tutorial on how to do that for you so that you've got a step-by-step procedure, okay? All right. Have a good morning.